Welcome to Sense and Nonsense A to Z, where we pick topics based off of the letter of the day. Today is episode 5 of season 1, featuring the letter E.
We're family and we're your hosts, AT and Z. So let's get started. I'm going to begin with Egunon.
Egunon?
Egunon, which is good day or hello in Basque.
Ah, fancy.
Yeah, we're getting fancy schmancy. So what's going on, Z?
Well, I'm at my auntie's house and she made me cookies.
She did?
Yes, don't be alarmed by the fish in the background.
Because it's my fish.
Yes. Yes. I have a good auntie and she made me cookies.
Thank you.
I mean, just the best.
It's good to have you here.
Thanks.
I know.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
I can kind of hear you in the background a little bit, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I can too, but we'll say we apologize, but we're doing it this way. So we're just going to have to make it work.
Yeah. I'm just hanging out here with you. Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
Probably could have recorded outside, I'm thinking.
I think so, but we might have gotten
chilly.
an echo. We might have gotten an echo when we laugh.
Probably would have had the seagulls in the background because there's a lot of seagulls around lately.
Yeah. Plus, if your swans see you, they'll come up and rah, rah, rah.
They already ate.
Oh,
they were already here.
How about that?
Yeah.
You got a menagerie.
Yeah. Cats are hiding. The dog is down south. The swans ate and they're gone. The ducks are hanging around and the seagulls are hanging around. What can I tell you? It's a mess.
Oh my goodness. Well, should we get started with something?
Yeah. I have a local interest story. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah.
And it's local to you. It's not local to me. So this is regarding a train trestle bridge in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay. That's not far.
No, it's called the Gregson Street Underpass.
All right.
It's also better known as the Can Opener Bridge.
What?
Yeah, Can Opener Bridge. And I'll tell you why. Let me give you just a little history. It was originally designed in 1920.
Okay.
And it was built in 1940.
All right.
Off of the street, it's 11 foot, 8 inches high.
That's like
low.
Yeah.
So it's only a one way. So what they did is they realized that it was low. They put a heavy steel I-beam in front of the train trestle. So this way it protects it.
Okay.
And it's a couple foot away from the actual bridge, but it's there. And there's orangey yellow signs all over the place. 11 foot 8, 11 foot 8, and a blinking sign that says over height must turn. And there's a cross street right there. So you can avoid this bridge, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this bridge has been a problem.
Oh no. How many truck drivers?
It constantly gets hit. And one of the guys who is a worker there in an office, I guess, was watching all these crashes. He decided to set up a camera and he set up a website. The website's called 11 foot 8. So 11foot8.com. So after a while, he was getting all these crashes. He decided, I'm going to set up a second camera. So he has 2 cameras going. Like I said, this has been a real problem.
Yeah.
They've thought about digging, because that's the easiest thing to do. Dig. This way it has
another feet.
Whatever. Right. Only problem is that there's sewer lines and water lines.
Of course.
And they can't.
Oh man.
So they had hired an engineering firm who determined that to keep the integrity of the railroad, it can only go up 8 inches. Now it's 12 foot 4 and they're still getting crashes.
Oh my.
Just shears the top off of the containers. Well, especially before.
Yeah.
I mean, these videos are unbelievable. And what's crazy is that these truck drivers are like obviously not reading the signs.
Yeah.
Some of them have stopped and backed up. And they back up into another car.
Oh,
it's like this is a follow-up from what we were talking about last time.
Yes.
When we were complaining about drivers. It's like, really? And then you see all these crashes. It's just nuts. So now they've changed all the signs. It's 12 foot 4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that
Still happening.
that I-beam just keeps on getting banged up. And what I've noticed is these newer trucks, they have this like aerodynamic fin in the front. Those always catch it.
Oh
That's
man,
gone. That I-beam just rips it right off. It's
that's incredible.
But the ironic part is that all they have to do is make a right-hand turn and they can avoid this bridge totally. Just read the sign, make a right, and you could go around. It's just nuts.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about the drivers, I just drove up here from North Carolina to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I was seeing it everywhere. And I'm like, I just mentioned this on the podcast. Look what this guy's doing. Look what this is. What's happening
You drivers.
I know. I felt like a grumpy old man jiggling change in my pocket and raising my fists at the hooligans in the neighborhood for stomping on my lawn. But I mean, it's the truth. It is a nightmare.
I-95 is terrible. Oh, I know. And then once you get in an accident, forget it.
Exactly.
You're done.
Yeah.
You might as well just turn the car off. You're done.
Forget it. If you have to go to the bathroom, you're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Always carry a container with you.
Yuck.
Well, you gotta do you gotta do.
I know. That's gross. Yeah. Moving on.
All right. So 10 questions, E edition.
All right.
There's an E in each question. Okay. You get the idea. Okay. For breakfast, eggs or waffles?
Eggs.
Oh, okay. For me, it's waffles. Do you call them elastic bands or rubber bands?
Rubber bands.
Me too. Who calls them elastic bands?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe 40 years ago. I ain't more.
When balancing your checkbook, easy or hard?
I don't do this anymore. I bank online. No balancing of a checkbook.
You don't do that at all.
No.
Okay. It's easy for me, but that's besides the point. When in a multi-level building, elevator or steps?
Elevator.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Never. I always take steps.
I'm afraid of heights.
I
would prefer to not be acutely aware of how high I'm going. And when you're taking stairs, you're aware that you're climbing and you're getting further away from the ground.
So you're afraid of heights, and I'm afraid of getting stuck in an elevator.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd rather get the exercise. So that's why I take the steps all the time.
Elevator for me.
All right. Magic eraser. Does it work?
Yes, it does. However, with caveat, it disintegrates very quickly. Okay. And if you're using it on a wall to get
for scuff,
scuff or crayon from your kid or whatever, it like leaves like a lint.
Okay, but you can just wipe that off, right?
Well, you have to then wait for it to dry and then you have to get it off. I mean, it works. Yes, it works. Some surfaces it works better on than others.
All right, next question.
Okay.
If you can only use one type of eye makeup, what would it be?
Mascara.
Me too. Was that an easy one? I guess it was.
For me, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite country in Europe?
England.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It's Greece for me, of course. Never been, but it's still Greece.
Well, England's good for me for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm familiar with it. Number two, they speak English. And number three, I can eat the food without fear. You know, I can get around. I can speak the language. I can eat the food. I know the money. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm good there.
Well, I'm good with that in Greece too.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying for me.
Yeah, I'm not.
They don't use drachma anymore. So.
Well, no, but there's a problem with me with the food. I can't eat all that food.
Yeah, and that's no problem with Greek food.
I know. I do though. I do.
Yeah,
I have
Okay,
not that I wouldn't want to visit.
Yeah, of course.
I want to visit, but if I had to pick one to like plop my butt in and stay, it would be England. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you prefer an electric mower or gas mower?
I prefer to pay somebody to mow my grass. So I don't really care.
I really don't care about this question. All righty. How many earthquakes have you felt?
I have personally felt about a half a dozen because I used to live in California.
Yeah.
And those those you really feel.
Mhm.
But, they happen all the time. You don't necessarily feel them. But
Right.
I remember the first one I felt, I was like, whoa,
What is
that's
this?
intense.
Yeah.
That just happened.
Sure.
Everything just went. So, yeah, I
Sure.
probably would say about a half a dozen I've actually felt.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've held two
Two?
in New Jersey. Yeah. One long time ago, I would say in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one probably about, I don't know, about 8 years ago.
Hmm.
I remember Joe Willie was sitting on the bed and I was cleaning. I saw him, he was going crazy. And then I
Mm-hmm.
saw the bedroom TV going whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm like, holy moly.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, that was here in Fort
That's
Good River.
intense.
Mm-hmm.
They're intense when that happens because
I
there's
know. Well,
nothing you can do. There's
especially in New Jersey. It's like we
yeah,
don't get them.
you're not prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The last question.
Mm-hmm.
Espresso or latte?
Latte.
Me too.
Yeah. Give me the creamy and a little sugar, actually. I want some sugar. But I
you put
definitely want it
sugar- I don't-
creamy.
Yeah,
Coffee is bitter and
it is.
I can't have it. I need something that's going to temper that up.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like dairy anyway, so just pile that stuff on.
Oh man. Back in the day, I
Yeah.
used to get Dunkin' Donuts coffee with cream in it and
Mm-hmm.
sugar, like coffee regular,
Yeah.
how they made it?
Yeah.
So good. So good. So bad for you, but
I know.
so good.
I
So
know.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do that anymore, but that's right. All right. Well, that was fun. Do you want to do
Want to do sense and nonsense?
sure.
Why not? Let's do our games because we love games.
Yeah, we like games. I love games.
I know. Ever since you were little, we always played games.
I like playing games.
Mhm.
I wish I played more games.
Don't have the time.
Oh, nobody will play with me.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
know.
I play with you.
I know nobody will play with me.
Okay, sense or nonsense. The topic is emojis.
Oh boy. Okay.
Here's my first question. More men than women use the eggplant emoji. Sense or nonsense?
Sense.
You would be correct. Out of the times that it's used, it's about 56% are used by men.
Well, that makes sense. Considering
Is
what
it?
it signifies. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sense or nonsense? Over 1 billion emojis are sent over Messenger every day.
Oh, sense.
It's correct. It's
Yeah.
over 5 billion.
Oh. Well, that's how we communicate now.
Every day, and over 60 million on Facebook.
Oh.
Wow. Everybody uses emojis.
Well, I know like for just my immediate family, when we talk to on my mom's side, somebody from my family talks to my grandmother every day.
Mhm.
And then we have a text thread where we alert everybody that we have spoken with her and she is alive,
Right.
and we send out a thumbs up, that's how you respond.
course.
Saw it, thumbs up. And that's only once a day, but I use emojis more than that. And I'm not even an emoji freak, and I do it more than that.
Okay, got one more for you.
Okay.
Sense or nonsense? Some cultures view the thumb up emoji as obscene.
Of course they do. It's got to be sense.
It is sense. For the most part, people believe that the thumb up is an approval. However, are you ready?
Yeah.
Middle East, Australia, and Greece consider it profanity. They consider that like an up yours.
That is good to know. So at least I have one hand gesture when I go to Greece to tell people F off. There you go.
Okay.
But it's awesome. I got all three.
I know you did. You did
I'm
good.
so
You batted
happy.
1,000 here.
Woo!
Okay. Woohoo. Okay. A couple of facts. Emojis originated on Japanese mobile phones in 1997. The birthday cake and the pizza slice emojis are the most used food emojis year round.
Makes sense.
About 50% of Twitter posts include an emoji.
Hey, how many are poop?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
People use poop a lot.
People do. There was actually another reason for that poop emoji.
I think it was supposed to be chocolate, wasn't it?
Yes, I think you're right. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Yeah.
chocolate.
It's not. It's poop.
It's poop now.
It's been poop for a while. Even
Yeah.
little kids know it's poop.
uh, July 17th is World Emoji Day. And here's my last factoid. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Miley Cyrus has a kitty cat emoji tattooed on the inside of her bottom lip. There's pictures online.
Why would you do such a thing?
I have no idea. The inside of your bottom lip.
Why?
Kitty cat.
Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to know.
Z, it's a kitty cat.
I think it's best if I don't know. I don't care what it is.
Inside
That's
of the
weird.
bottom lip. Yep.
That's weird.
Yep.
I like our Bitmojis.
Oh, I do too.
I like my Bitmoji. I use my Bitmoji quite a bit, especially when I'm communicating with AT.
It's my favorite app.
I know, mine too.
Do we want to talk about bands?
Sure.
Okay, you feel like doing that? Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Band I want to bring up is the Eurythmics.
Okay.
Love them.
Mm-hmm.
I love Annie Lennox.
Yes.
This is why I love the Eurythmics.
Of course.
I love Annie Lennox.
Yeah. Who cares about Stewart?
Well, he's good.
Yeah, but I mean, she
It's-
could have done it without him. Honestly,
She has.
Yeah.
And she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to bring up the Eurythmics is because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They were snubbed back in 2018 when they were nominated. They're actually in the Music Hall of Fame in the UK.
Okay.
That they're in.
That makes
But
sense.
in the US one, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no. But they're nominated again this year.
How many
So
people can you vote for? Can you just vote your brains out?
Well, you go to vote.rockhall.com. You can vote for 5.
Oh, I see.
And that's not a guarantee,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a fan vote. And hopefully the fan vote has a little influence on what happens.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they're gaining some speed up there.
All right.
Yeah, I think they're in 4th place right now, and I try to vote for them every day. You can vote for 5, and I always try to do my best. You know, it's Pat Benatar, the Eurythmics, right
Dolly.
now, Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Right now, Duran is in the lead.
All right. Well, I can
And-
get behind that.
Yeah, and I told you the other day, Eminem is right now in 2nd place. Okay.
You like
but-
Eminem. I like Marshall Mathers. I do.
I mean, I get it.
I just think there are some other people that should go in before him.
Totally. For instance, the people
Pat-
who we just discussed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar.
You know, let's get them in a Hall of Fame. I have a real beef about the Hall of Fame, but
I see that. It's
that's-
coming up a
yeah.
lot lately.
It is. And I can't wait till we hit the letter H.
I can
'Cause
feel it coming. I can
It
feel
is.
it.
It's going to be my pet peeve for sure. The one thing about the Eurythmics, I can't tell you how many times I've sung Sweet Dreams.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I mean, I'm talking about it in a band.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
And do you remember the one time, the first time I sung it, I called you and I said, I just looked up the lyrics.
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
this.
It's this. It's not these. I always thought
Yeah.
it was these.
I know.
Sweet dreams are made of this. It's like
Mhm.
this. Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
these.
No. But she
Yeah.
pronounces it these.
Like these. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in between word.
Yeah. I think she just did that to mess with people. It's like she sings these,
She
but
would-
tells you it's this.
She would do that.
Yeah, just to mess with you.
I mean, how many people would show up and sing with David Bowie in that outfit? And
With
that
those makeup, those
and
eyes.
the makeup, those
Yeah.
eyes. I know.
She did a great job. She did a
She did.
great job
She
singing
really
Freddie
did.
Mercury's part in Under Pressure for that tribute concert. She did a
Yeah.
great job. I can
Yeah,
still
there's-
picture that in my head because it was so memorable. It
too.
was so show-stopping.
Me too. And the other song I really like from the Eurythmics is Would I Lie to You? I sing that all the
Oh
time,
yeah,
too.
that's a good song.
That's a good song to work out to, by the way.
Oh,
Just,
Okay.
just a little
I know.
suggestion.
Yeah.
So
No, I love
anyway,
them too. I love the video for Sweet Dreams. I love how like
Mhm.
gender bending she was and in that outfit with that riding crop. I was like, well, she's serious. You know, she means
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And what a voice.
Oh man.
I mean, not just liking her personally, just loving that voice
Yeah.
too.
She could sing anything.
Mhm.
She's got such a great voice that Peter Jackson asked her to sing Into the West for the Lord of the Rings.
No
And
kidding.
that song actually won an Oscar.
You see?
I mean,
Come on.
incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So don't mess with Annie Lennox.
For sure.
All right. I want to talk about somebody else that you shouldn't mess with.
Okay, I'm ready.
The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
You know what song just came to my head?
What?
The Christmas song, Blue Christmas. Why? I have no idea. It just came to my head as soon as you said that.
I don't know either. That was a good imitation, actually. I'm impressed by that.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just want to touch on Elvis really quick. I'm not going to get into it or anything because I know we have some other stuff we have to do. And we have just kind of spent a lot of times on singers and band recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't let E go by without mentioning him because he's amazing. He did so much stuff.
He is the letter E.
He is the letter E, and he is the king. You know, he really is the king. And when you start getting into a lot of the things that he did, it's really surprising. But I just want to say, love Elvis, and I always have Elvis 30 #1 hits in my truck. It is always in my truck because it is always in there because I never know when the mood is going to hit me and I have to listen. That's one of those ones where if I have a craving, a hankering, I want to hear it, I got to hear it right away. I can't wait. That's one of those, he's one of those people that I want to hear right away. And so I always have it in my truck. And one of my favorite Elvis songs to sing is Jailhouse Rock. It is one of my absolute, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but it's absolutely one of my favorites.
No, it's a great song. That was a big hit for him.
Oh yeah. Well, it's great. It's great because he kind of stopped some of the, it wasn't that, it wasn't the crooner kind of thing. It was really rock and roll. Like that song, you know, you listen to him, he shreds his voice a little bit and it's just really fun. But there's also a remix on that album of A Little Less Conversation, and it's really, really good, and I love it so much. I crank it so loud. I'm actually afraid to listen to it with my son in the car because I turn it up so loud. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. And Burning Love is also a lot of fun to sing for me. So I just want to mention him, give him a shout out. You know, much love for Elvis.
Absolutely. You know, it amazes me. I can't believe that he died at 42.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was that I believe it was the Ed Sullivan Show that they were only allowed to show him from the waist up.
Waist up. Yeah, because his hips were too controversial.
Yeah, because he was swinging his hips.
Yes.
But it was Ed Sullivan, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
I know. And it was so mild.
We've come a long way,
I was just going to say it was so mild. He didn't do anything. I mean, it was ridiculous, but he was a groundbreaker, you know, and you've got to pave the way for now. You got to have guys like that. And also another, you know, icon with all the screaming girls. Propelling him forward, really.
And another one that did movies too.
Did movies. I mean, he did a lot of movies.
He did a lot of movies. Yeah. He was good.
He was good.
I loved him when I was growing up. I mean, I don't listen to him much now. Ever so often Sirius has a station that's the Elvis station. Ever so often, you know, you flip through the stations and you'll stop there. It's like, I remember this song. Yeah. But in my truck, I have Led Zeppelin. That's the one I have in my truck.
Well, I have others. I'm not saying it's exclusively Elvis, but he's one that I have to keep in the truck all the time. And if I want to listen to it in the house, I'll go to my truck and I'll get it, listen to it, and then I'll put it right back. Yeah. I definitely wanted to say that about him.
He is,
he is the king.
Still to this day.
He's the king. And I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Have you ever eaten a peanut butter and banana sandwich?
Oh, I do it all the time.
I have never done this.
Oh no, I do it all the time.
This sounds gross to me, but the picture of it just in my mind, I can't do it. But
instead of jelly, you put the banana on it.
I get it.
And it's a little fruity. Yeah, are you kidding me?
I'm sure it's good.
as we know from a previous episode, my favorite sandwich is still the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if I feel like a little change and I have a banana that's like a little on the mushy side,
Yeah.
I'll put it on a sandwich. I do that
I
all
put
the
it, I put mine
time.
in a smoothie.
Oh, do you? I either make
I
muffins
don't like
with
the,
it or I put it in a
no,
sandwich.
that's very industrious of you.
I got another sandwich for you with peanut butter.
All right.
The father-in-law used to make this. Make a peanut butter sandwich, just peanut butter.
Uh-huh.
Dip it in egg and fry it like it's French toast, but there's
Yeah.
peanut butter in between. See, Elvis would have liked that.
I think Elvis liked fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I think they fried them for
There's
him.
no banana in it, though.
I
But you could
understand,
put-
but
you
I
could put a banana in
but
it.
I think they would fry the peanut butter and banana sandwiches for him too.
Did they
Yeah,
dip
I mean
it in
he's the
egg?
king. He's the king. I don't know, but he shot TVs. They were going to
Yeah,
make
I
him the
know.
sandwich whatever way you wanted.
Exactly. Give that man a gun, not a good thing. Yeah.
No, but who's going to take it away from him?
Yeah. No, not me.
No.
How about if we do pet peeves?
Great idea.
You know, stuff that bothers the crap out of us.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's easy, mine's quick. You know the erasers on top of pencils?
Yeah.
You know when they're like shiny
Yes.
and they don't erase?
They smear.
All they do is smear. I mean, what is
Smear.
that about?
I
What
don't
is
know.
that about? Why call it an eraser if it's not going to erase?
I don't know. Why put that shiny bit on there?
I have no idea. To save it? I mean, what's that?
They're
What do you
like polyurethane, the eraser.
What do you expect me to do? Use whiteout
For a pencil.
for a pencil? I mean, I'm better off just crossing the darn thing out or
Yeah.
starting over. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst is when it rips the paper. It's like, what the heck is this?
I mean, once you work an eraser in, it works.
Right.
You know, it works.
There shouldn't
really
be a
well.
breaking in period like shoes.
That's what it is. Oh no, don't use that. That's a new one. It
Yeah.
needs to be broken in. Don't
Yeah.
use that eraser.
It's
I know
ridiculous.
it's so silly. But
Mhm.
it's a pain in the neck. It's ridiculous. is what
It's
it is.
ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like on vacation on the beach and you took like a puzzle book or something with you and
Oh,
you've got one of those
God.
erasers. You're on the beach. You don't have a lot of resources at your disposal.
I expect my eraser to work.
Yes.
That little red thing on top of my pencil, I expect it to work. Yep.
It's even
not to have
bad.
to break
It's
it in.
even bad sometimes on the mechanical ones. And
Yeah.
those erasers are even tinier.
Tiny. Yeah.
They're so small.
They're just like a little nub. That's
Yeah.
all
It's
they
like,
are.
don't make a
Yeah.
mistake. Even though you're using pencil, don't make a mistake.
Yeah. Well, that's my
Grr.
pet peeve. How about
All
yours?
My pet peeve is,
E-edition.
yeah, my e-edition pet peeve is a huge problem, actually.
Okay.
And it's equal pay.
Wow, you picked a good one.
Yeah.
That is a huge problem.
It's
And
a
talk
huge
about-
problem.
Yeah, that
But-
bothers the crap out of me too.
Yeah. Again, just like with Elvis, I couldn't let E go by without saying equal pay.
Yeah.
Because it's a nagging problem that we have had since women have joined the workforce, and it isn't going away. We're inching to get like 4 cents increase in a decade, and it's just sick when you think about it. If a white non-Hispanic man makes $1, a woman on average makes 82 cents.
And
But
I gotta tell
race,
you,
but wait,
Okay.
wait a second. Race
Okay.
really factors in here because an
Sure.
Asian woman will typically make 87 cents on that dollar.
okay.
White women make about 80. Black women make a ridiculous 63.
It's disgusting.
Native American women make 60. And the most appalling is Latina or Hispanic women make about 55 cents on that same dollar.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And I can't
That's-
believe this is still a thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I left corporate America, because
I understand.
I have firsthand knowledge of equal pay.
I mean, me too. I was an entrepreneur for I still am, but over a decade ago, because I was sitting there going, why the hell am I making 82 cents when the guy sitting next to me, who doesn't even do as good a job as I do, is making 20 cents more than me?
My breaking point was when the boss, who was in the corner office, And I
Mhm.
was not the corner office. I was this next to the corner office. I knew I would never get that job.
Mhm.
That wouldn't happen.
Mhm.
But when he came in to me at 4 o'clock on I think it might have been a Thursday, and said, there's a deadline tomorrow of this other guy's work, and he can't get it done because he really doesn't know this project. I need you to get it done for me for tomorrow. It's like, it's 4 o'clock. You're giving me this project that the guy who makes more money than me
Mhm.
can't do. And you
Mhm.
expect me to have that on your desk tomorrow morning?
Mhm.
It's like, I don't have a problem doing an all-nighter. I really, really don't. But the point is, you're taking it off of his desk and throwing it on my desk with an impossible deadline.
And you're not even going to pay me the same amount of money.
Exactly. That was my breaking point.
I understand completely. My thing is, I would get hired into doing a job and I'm really efficient. It takes me a minute to learn. And then once I learn, I improve and make things more efficient. That's just always what I've done. And I was at one point, I just kept absorbing jobs. I was doing the job I was hired for. And then this person would leave and they wouldn't fill that position. And I would take what they did.
Sure.
And then it would be absorbed into mine. And then that happened again and it was absorbed into mine. And that happened again and it was absorbed into mine. So I was doing 4 jobs, making the same amount of money. And the guy next to me who had one job made more than me.
Right.
And I was like, that's it.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yep.
And
okay, you got me at my breaking point. This is it. I'm done.
That's it.
I'm out of here. Don't even ask me to stay because obviously you have no respect for me.
No, exactly.
Yep.
And it was interesting because we had brought up 9 to 5 last week and I had watched it. And when they take Dabney Coleman and they chain him up and they start making reforms at the office.
Yes.
You know, they did job sharing, daycare center.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And they did equal pay as well. And then when the chairman of the board comes in and likes everything but equal pay, he tells them, nope, we gotta change that because we can't give them that. We can give them that as an incentive, but that's not something that we're going to carry forward. And I was like, that was in 1980. They made that movie and we're still fighting the same fight with barely an increase.
Yeah.
From 1980, only 4 cents really has changed. That's ridiculous that that's the case. And the justification when in 9 to 5, when Violet was up for her promotion was he gave it to a man because a man has a family to support.
Mm.
And she was a single mother with 2 kids. She's like, and I don't. But that's the mindset. A man has a child to support. A man is the breadwinner. Oh, and clients would rather deal with a man. But she was way more qualified. She ran that place. She ran that office.
Oh, yeah.
And you wonder why women just are like snapping and why suddenly we're having more heart attacks and our health is declining because we have all the responsibility at
all
home,
the stress.
At home,
yes, we do.
Plus all the responsibility at work. And we're still getting paid on average 20 to 40 cents less than the man doing the same job is getting paid.
Right.
So and then you have all these terms for us. Oh, you're too bossy. Oh, you're too aggressive. You're too this, you're too that. Oh, you got to wear a dress. Oh, you got to wear heels. You got to still be feminine. You still got to do this. You still got to do that.
I know. Got that all the time. I'm so glad I don't work for corporate America anymore.
I mean,
it's been a long time.
Put a sock in it. Where's that thumbs up signal? Give them that thumbs up.
Yeah. For a woman, it's just too aggressive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The same attitude on a man.
He's a go-getter.
Yep.
He delegates. He commands respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The woman, she's bitchy.
Right. Exactly. So.
Exactly. Yeah. She's
ball
too
buster.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we don't like that.
No.
But he's a go-getter.
Yeah.
Dealt with that so many years.
And this isn't just an American problem, by the way. This is worldwide.
Oh, I'm sure.
The largest gender pay gap is in South Korea at 31.5%.
Wow.
Then Japan with 22.5. And then we're in the US, we're about 18. That's where we are.
Yeah. Japan doesn't surprise me.
No, this is a worldwide problem. And the pandemic has set the women's labor force back more than 30 years. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, isn't that
So
wonderful?
people, entrepreneurs, go for it, and also support women-owned businesses so they can actually make a
Please.
fair wage,
Please,
please.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So that's all for that, or else it would be an hour rant.
And it would get into a rant
Yes.
if it didn't already, but
Yeah.
borderline
Yeah.
rant.
But justifiably, I think like
I
this
think
is
so
really a
too.
justifiable issue. And
I
it's
think so
not,
too.
it's not to hate
It's just
on
not
men.
fair.
It's not,
just
but
not
it's not
fair. Come
exactly.
on.
It's not fair. It is not fair. You know, and it's historically not fair across the board. It's not just like, that's not fair. It's like, no, this is not fair. And don't even put in transgender on top of that,
Oh
or
my God.
or
Forget it.
sexual
Forget it.
orientation on
Yeah.
top of that. That's a
Yeah,
whole
forget
that's a whole nother
other-
layer to that.
Yeah,
That's just like, oh my God,
I know.
unbelievable. Well, here's some news. The U.S. women's soccer team has reached a proposed settlement in its equal pay lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Yes, they have.
The U.S. Soccer Federation has agreed to pay a lump sum of $22 million in back pay, which is about a third of what these women initially asked for.
Right, with an additional $2 million to be put in a fund.
That's correct. Yep. In addition to that, they get to renegotiate their contract, and they have to agree on it, and then it has to be ratified, and then it has to be taken to the court so they can sign off on it and finalize the settlement agreement. So even though they won with a caveat.
Well, sure. You know what really stinks is that the men's team hasn't done squat. And the women's team has gotten 4 World Cups, 4 gold medals, and 8 CONCACAF Gold Cups. I mean,
they kick butt, and they have to win so much more to make their bonuses than the men do. And the men don't even have to win. And they're still making their base pay is still higher than the women's. And they're doing nothing.
And they get these wonderful flights. They get these beautiful practice fields and the hotels and all that stuff. And the girls get like squat. Terrible.
It's terrible.
Well, good for them. I'm glad that they at least got something. I know it was a real settled
It was
situation.
A settlement, and it took ages. You know, it got thrown out and they had to come back and try again.
The original complaint was back in March of 2016.
That was just a complaint.
5 women complained exactly that their rights were being violated.
And then they had to get together and do a class action lawsuit in order to get these jerks to even look at it. Isn't that disgusting? They're doing all this. They're killing themselves to win.
Yeah.
And they are.
And winning.
And they're
winning. Yeah.
And they're doing it. And they still can't get somebody without a court getting involved.
Yeah.
They still can't get somebody to say, you know what? Yes, you deserve that. No, they have to get a court to order the U.S. Soccer Federation to treat them properly. How disgusting and despicable is that?
Yeah. When the judge threw that case out last year, he pretty much told the women, well, you know, you should have negotiated at the time of the contract. And the girls are like, do you think we didn't try to negotiate? We just took the best offer that was afforded to us.
Right.
You know, we wanted the same contract as the men.
Exactly.
And we were told, no way.
Exactly.
No way.
That is the most ridiculous statement that there could possibly be in regards to this. It's like, do you really think that they offered us more money and we said, oh no.
Yeah.
We want this lesser offer here.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me with this?
I know.
No, they had to scratch and claw for what they had in the first place because there was
a real
ceiling
issue
on it.
Yeah.
What's crazy is this is just one very small win, but it's only across one field. You know, one field. It's and look what they had to go through to get it. And we're talking about, just like what you said, the awards, the honors, the gold medals, and still they had to do this. What chance does a regular woman out on the street have to win something like this?
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It really is. Yeah. I have a follow-up from a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Super Bowl, and there was some rumor about Troy Aikman going over to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
We have breaking news
Oh,
that he is close to signing a deal with ESPN for Monday Night Football. How about that?
really?
Isn't that cool?
That's interesting. So there is going to be a little bit of an
Movement
opening.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that should be cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Wow, with the Troy Aikman football thing, this is leading me right into the actor that we want to talk about. One of our favorite E actors,
Mm-hmm.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Is he awesome?
He's so awesome. He has that commercial where he shows
That's
up
exactly
to his...
what I was going to say about the commercial from the Super Bowl, right?
No.
For Nissan? Oh, you're talking about the one with his daughter?
The one with his daughter.
Oh, okay.
The one with his daughter when he shows up at our house and she's like, no, I got it covered. And he's like, oh, who wants French toast? And I'm always like, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm hungry.
I want Eugene Levy to be my dad. So that just love for him.
Yeah. But the commercial I was going to bring up from the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
is the Nissan commercial. Did you see that one?
I don't think I saw the...
Oh, you didn't see that?
I don't think I saw it.
Okay, so they had him made up with long gray hair, like he was an action star.
Okay.
And he gets into the Nissan Z car
Uh-huh.
and driving around. And he looked tough. He looked really tough. And then at the end of the commercial, he goes, well, cock-a-doodle-doo. It's a great commercial.
Okay.
I find out that they had this whole theme going. It was called like an action movie called The Thrill Driver. And his name in The Thrill Driver
Uh-huh.
was Dragon. So they made this whole thing look like it was an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nissan asked a animated producer of figurines to make a figurine of him. So there's a little figurine of Eugene Levy as the character.
Can you buy it?
I have a feeling it's for Nissan dealers. So they're probably going to send them all to the Nissan dealers, that sort of thing. Whether you can buy him from there, I have no idea. There's a picture of him on Twitter with the little character.
Oh my God. We need to find out if you can buy
We
one.
need to get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go test drive a Nissan to get a little action figurine.
Oh boy. So Eugene Levy pretty much started being famous with the SCTV.
Canadian.
In Canada.
Yeah.
So that's the Canadian answer to SNL, pretty
Mhm.
much. And one of the main characters that he did all the time was that news anchor man, Earl Camembert.
Like the cheese?
Kind of, sort of. It's spelled the same way, but it's a play off of a real news guy.
Okay.
His name was Earl Cameron in
Oh,
Canada. So kind of like the SNL kind of thing.
yeah.
They
yeah.
had a news portion, but it was all really goofy. And he
A
just
lot of
played a whole
famous-
bunch of characters.
A lot of famous people came out of that, didn't they? I mean,
Sure
wasn't
did.
like Martin
John
Short,
Candy.
John Candy? Yeah.
They were
yeah.
good friends too.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene
I
Levy
bet.
and John
I
Candy.
imagine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara,
Always.
Andrea
always.
Martin, Rick Moranis, Harold
Mhm.
Ramis.
Yeah.
Do you know who Joe Flaherty is? The guy from Happy Gilmore?
Which one is that? Which guy?
Shooter.
Awkward.
Let's go to the guy
That
who was
guy?
Yes. Yeah. He was part of that newscast team with Eugene Levy.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's where he came from too.
All right.
But of course, our favorite
It's one of my
character that he
favorites.
plays is Johnny Rose. on
Johnny
Schitt's-
Rose.
I love that show so much.
Schitt's Creek was one of those shows that it could have gone either way. It could have been really terrible,
Mhm.
or it could have been really great. And we're so lucky that it went the really great route
Yeah.
because it's epic,
It now has a cult following. People are dressing up like them.
especially Moira. There's a
Oh,
lot of following
especially.
of
Yes.
people dressing up like Moira.
Well, you know,
And
she
I-
had so many costumes.
I
you
know, and so many. So many
Wigs.
costumes, but the wigs.
That
and-
was actually her idea, the wigs.
I know it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So was
Yeah.
the cost. Everything about that was
Mhm.
actually she built
Mhm.
that character. But
Yeah.
I came across an article about Schitt's Creek characters and which character you are based off of your zodiac sign. So
And they give you different characters
They
from
give you different
the
ones
show?
for
Okay.
each sign. And
Okay.
it's funny because you and I had talked about this before. My mother is Moira, right? We always said that.
No
Like
doubt.
she has so many characteristics of Moira.
When
And
we
then I
first saw Schitt's Creek, well,
instantly,
that's her.
that's my mom,
That's her.
that's my
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And
Does she know? Does she know that?
she does now. She does now. But I mean, it's
Okay.
unmistakable. If you know my mom and you watch Schitt's Creek, you'd be like, wow, there's a lot of similar characteristics of these two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I looked at this article, the first one up, well, the first one is Johnny Rose and he's an Aries. But the second one obviously is Moira and she's a Taurus and my mom's a Taurus. So my mom would actually be, it works
Wow.
perfectly. Yeah.
Wow. So what are you?
I am Alexis and she is a Gemini. And I don't think I'm as self-absorbed as Alexis is.
I'm a little bit Alexis.
I love the dress she was wearing when she did that though.
I love that whole thing.
I know.
Yeah. I got to tell you, she's my favorite character.
I love her a lot.
Yeah,
I love her a lot.
She did a great job.
She did. She's not my favorite character, but I love her a lot. I can see there may be some similarities, but she's of course completely over the top. And I'm very understated, I think. I don't think I'm as over the top as she is.
No,
but
definitely not.
There are some similarities. So I will let that go. But you, I don't agree with this one at all. You are an Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And they are associating Aquarius with much shit.
No.
I don't think so at all.
No, I don't get that at all. I think
that you should be Twyla Sands. And she's a Virgo.
I mean, there's a lot of similarities with Aquarius and Virgo. You know what? I think out of everybody, I'm more like her. Yeah.
I think so. She's a people person. She's so helpful. You know, she loves what she does and she's, happy and she's always trying to,
very sweet. Yeah.
She's very sweet, but also she's got a little bit of an edge to her sometimes. So
I've got an edge.
Yeah. So I think you should be Twyla. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll settle for that. Absolutely.
All right.
The one other thing that I want to mention about Eugene Levy was all his films in American Pie.
Yeah.
4 regular American Pies and 5 spin-offs, of which he did 4 of them. So 8 total.
The thing that I love about him in that, is like he's such a good dad.
The same thing with Schitt's Creek. He's almost getting typecast as a good dad, but that's okay. I mean,
he should be. I think we need more examples. He unconditionally loved his kid in American Pie, no matter what he caught him doing. And he caught him doing some messed up stuff. Yeah. He would, his immediate goal, his immediate thought was to cover for the kid. No matter what. And I love that about him. He was just like, well, okay. And he would just,
that's kind of the character that he played in Schitt's Creek too. Mm-hmm. He always supported their decision,
Yeah. Great guy. Yeah. And he's so good with Catherine O'Hara. They're such a good team.
Oh yeah. Well, they go way back. They go way back to SCTV.
But they often play a couple. They did in Best in Show and they seem so natural. They're such good friends and they're such good collaborators. Yeah. You can't really ask for a better partner. You see them and they seem right. You
cool.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
I have a little thing about that. So you were talking about SCTV being like Saturday Night Live counterpart. Yeah. And he was supposed to host Saturday Night Live with John Candy back in 1985. And he and Billy Crystal actually did a promo for it. But
Billy Crystal was the year before. So yeah.
So they did a promo for it. It never happened because the writers went on strike.
Oh, that was the year of the strike?
Yeah. And 1985 was the year that Robert Downey Jr. was on.
Oh, that would have been an awesome episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah. Oh, well.
My favorite actress, and she is one of my favorites, is Emily Blunt.
I like her too.
I like her a lot.
Yeah.
And The Devil Wears Prada was the first time I really
Me too.
got exposed to her.
She was fantastic in that.
She was a scene stealer. I mean,
Yeah.
every scene she was in, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And Stanley Tucci is actually her brother-in-law.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had bets to see who could be more over the top in their scenes. And he says that she won. But I love that movie. I loved her in it. The thing that always comes to my mind when I think of that movie is when they're going to that benefit gala and Anne Hathaway says to her, "Oh my God, you look so thin." And she's like, "I do, thank you. I'm on this new diet. It's very effective. Well, I don't eat anything. And when I feel like I'm going to pass out, I eat a cube of cheese."
Yeah.
It just sticks right in my head. I'm one stomach flu away from my goal weight. So funny. Just so good.
And she was skinny too.
Oh man,
she
was
is
so
skinny.
Yeah,
She's
but she was
now. Yeah.
Yeah, they asked her to lose weight. Yeah, they asked her to lose weight for it. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's like, lose weight how? My bones are in my body.
Exactly.
She was so good in The Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon as well. I loved her in that movie. She was a dancer, and she's actually a skilled dancer and singer and cellist. She's a grade 8 cellist and a skilled horseback rider. I mean, this girl, she's got so much going on for her.
Mm-hmm.
She was on The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, and they're making another one of those. It was an action movie. It was really cool because she had never done anything like that before. Mm-hmm. And when you do an action movie with Tom Cruise, you're going to be doing some crazy stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
And she did really good in that movie.
I had seen her last year promoting Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson with The Rock.
Yes.
And she was on Colbert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what a great sense of humor. I mean, they were going back and forth and back and forth. And of course, she was talking about her husband because John Krasinski was Stephen Colbert's first guest when he came back after COVID.
Oh, really?
And he did it in person. They had asked Stephen Colbert, "Who do you want us to try to book?" And he said, "There's only one guy, John Krasinski."
Awesome.
And so they had a little discussion about that, but she's so funny.
She's so funny.
They were going back and forth. It was a great interview.
She's quick. She's a genuine person. And she had a stammer when she was young.
Isn't she the poster girl for that foundation?
She's on the board. Yeah. And until she was 12, and a teacher asked her to do a character in a different voice. And once she did an accent, it was fine. It was gone. So that's what she does.
You would never know it.
No. But that's what I find incredible about her. She had this thing, overcame it, and then took off, really. And I like that movie Jungle Cruise with The Rock. As a matter of fact, that was pretty good.
Well, I know you like The Rock too.
I do. I like The Rock, but it was like a Amazon version of The Mummy, kind of. And The Mummy is one of my favorite movies. The old Mummy with Brendan Fraser, and that's one of my favorite movies. And this was kind of like the jungle version of it. But she was in Sherlock Gnomes. She played Juliet.
That's that animated thing.
Yes. She was also and Mary Poppins in Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah. I never saw it, but I saw like the trailer, and she had done the talk shows during that time too. Yeah. She's awesome.
She's beautiful, and she does have a good voice, but I was a little disappointed in the movie in that when I watch Mary Poppins, like I think there's so many iconic songs from Mary Poppins, Spoonful of Sugar.
You have to be careful with remakes.
You have to be careful.
I mean, Julie Andrews is Julie Andrews. Yes. She was Mary Poppins.
And she was practically perfect in every way, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And, when you try to improve on perfection, you're going to fall short. You just are. And I love Emily Blunt, and I think she did a very good job. But I don't think that it had quite the same magic that Mary Poppins did. And I feel like that did her a disservice. There wasn't any songs that I was like, "Ooh, I want to learn that song." Like, that was a great song. They were nice, but there weren't any songs that I'm like, "Oh, that's going to stick with me."
I almost say this in every episode. There's nothing like the original.
It's true.
Yeah.
And speaking of the original, they did A Quiet Place. She and John Krasinski. He wrote
Yes.
that and did that for her. He wanted her in it because he thought that she could do everything, and she does. And it's so scary. I tried to watch it, and I tried to watch it during the day. I got like 15 minutes in, and I'm like, this is too scary. Even the trailer for it, she does this quiet scream, like she doesn't make any noise, but she screams and you can see this terror in her face. And I'm like, I'm terrified. That little scene,
I can't watch movies like that. I
that's
just
like, and this little shot of her in a bathtub, which is probably, I don't know, 2 seconds long.
can't.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I'm like, nope,
Wow.
I can't do it. They
Yeah.
made another one because it was so successful, but I want to watch them desperately, but I know I can't. I just can't. They're so scary.
I know.
But
I can't watch them at all. I'll never sleep.
I know it's
Yeah.
it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But she's best friends with Amy Adams, and I
Mhm.
want to mention that because Amy Adams was my favorite A,
I like
and
her too.
she is British, but she became a U.S. citizen in 2015. So
There you
she's-
go.
Yep.
Ah.
So Emily Blunt.
I think you're not bringing up a movie, right? You're
I'm not
just
doing a
bringing up
movie. I'm doing a TV
Okay.
show.
The movie I want to bring up with the letter E is
Mhm.
one of my favorite movies. It's a silly one. It's Elf. I know it's a Christmas movie, but I'm sorry. I'm
That's all
sorry.
right.
It's one of my favorite movies. I would watch this all year round. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, John Favreau, he's brilliant. He really is.
I
And
really
this,
liked him in there too.
I
when he was
know,
the
the
doctor.
doctor.
He was good.
at the time he was virtually unknown as a director, John Favreau,
Yeah.
and now he's
Yeah.
one of the top 10 grossing directors in Hollywood of all time.
Do you remember him on Friends?
Yes, he was great
Yeah.
on Friends.
I liked him on Friends. I was rooting for him. It's
Me
like,
too.
yes,
Come
yes,
on,
you and
Monica.
Come on, Monica. Wake
on.
up.
Yeah,
Wake up. He's
really.
a great
I'm
guy.
not attracted to you. Get the hell out of here. He's giving you a restaurant. He's a great guy. Get
Yeah.
attracted to him. Who
Yeah,
gives a crap?
Exactly. Come on.
Uh,
But anyway, back to Elf.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell. He just the silliest.
silliest. Do you know that he caused accidents in New York? Several
When it
accidents
was
in the Lincoln
when they were
Tunnel.
filming that? No
yeah,
kidding.
Yeah, because people
I
were
can
like,
only
what the hell
imagine.
is he doing in this elf costume? Yeah. Can you imagine just
Oh, yes, I
seeing
can.
him running down the street like that? Well, now, but not back then.
Now I know it. I love that movie. I love it so much.
I like him sitting on Bob Newhart's lap.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. I was watching some of the outtakes,
Oh, really?
but I was really watching some of the deleted scenes. One of the trailers had a hockey game.
Yes. Yeah.
And he got called in because they were losing. His team
Mhm.
was losing. So he got called in. Okay, buddy, go in and do your thing. And he just kept on knocking people over. They cut that scene out. And
Yeah.
that was in the trailer. I was like, wait a second here.
Yeah.
That's not in a movie. I've seen a movie 1,000 times. There's a whole scene. There's a whole bunch of scenes that got deleted. So if you go onto YouTube, you can see the deleted scenes from Elf. They're pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I
Because
know.
they go into the locker room too, right after the hockey game.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
specifically got cut for, I think,
Probably for
momentum.
violence.
Yeah, for
Probably
momentum
for
they
violence,
wanted.
too.
Well, no, not for violence, but it was just it slowed the story down. So
Oh.
he wanted to keep it moving. But that's all right.
Anyway.
Good people were in that. James
Oh.
Caan,
Yep.
he's so good.
He is. Ed Asner.
He's great as Santa. I think he's played Santa a couple of times now from that.
Has he really?
Yeah.
He's a good Santa.
He's a little grumpy too, but he's good Santa.
Yeah, Santa can be grumpy. He's allowed.
I think so. He's got to deal with a lot of kids. I'd be grumpy. Mary Steenburgen?
I really like her.
Yeah,
I've
I do
seen her
too.
in a couple of different things. I really like her a lot.
I like her too.
Yeah.
She's got a sweetness to her. Like she can be
Mhm.
funny, but she's sincere, but she has an underlying sweetness.
I liked her character in that movie very much.
She played she played Will Ferrell's stepmom in a different movie as well. Step Brothers, I think.
Oh, and Step Brothers? Okay.
Yeah.
Another silly movie.
Yeah. Speaking of
that's a-
silly, he had headaches the whole time because of all the sugar he had to eat for this movie.
Really?
Oh yeah.
The
So much
syrup?
sugar and oh my God.
When he had the
And all
syrup.
the
Do you have any
stuff.
syrup? Syrup
Yeah.
for the spaghetti?
Spaghetti,
Oh, I think
yeah.
I have some here.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why he turned down a sequel. He won't ever do a sequel. He said no.
They wanted to do a sequel on Elf?
Yeah. Well, he said
I'm
no.
glad they didn't. because that just takes away from the original movie when you do that.
I know. I mean, look what they did with Home Alone. They beat that horse to death.
To death. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the original was so good.
The original was the best.
Yeah.
It's like, are you meaning to tell me that his parents left him again? Again? Like we didn't learn our lesson and made sure we had all the kids? We left him again.
Again.
All right.
Yeah.
Child services. All right. Should I do my TV show now?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh, good.
My favorite ETV show. This is a favorite, although I haven't seen it in a while. This was a favorite. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Everybody. He hated the name of that show. He hated it.
Did he really?
Yeah. And the producers told him, if you become a top 10 show, then we'll change the name. So that when they became a top 10 show, they're like, we're a successful show. We can't change the name now.
Why would we change it now? He's a great comedian. He's one of my favorite comedians.
He's a great comedian. Yeah. I laugh very hard at him. It's just relatable content. He always has relatable content. And that's one of the things that I liked about that show. It was relatable. And the kids were always relatable. They didn't have the kids doing cutesy things and saying jokes and kids don't do that. Kids are just there.
They modeled that show after his real life.
They did.
So he had a daughter and then he had twins.
Yes.
So
but what I'm saying is like for the dialogue, they didn't like give them jokes. Like in so many shows with families, they give these kids jokes that they would never say. They would never do these things. They just act like kids in the show.
They did.
And I like that. I really like that about him.
I looked forward to Monday nights.
It's such a good show. And they won so many awards for that show.
9 years they were on, right?
Yeah, something like that. Ray Romano and Patricia Heaton are a great couple. They worked really well together.
I know.
Yeah. It was believable. It was funny. And Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle. Peter, I know you love Peter Boyle.
I do. He's in my favorite movie.
Yeah.
My favorite movie is Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. And it was funny because in the Halloween episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, he plays the monster and he's going, oh, the monster.
And, a little familiar to you?
Yeah. And his wife, Doris Roberts, who's Marie on the show, goes, you think this is so different in real life? It was really funny. So I love that show. Yeah.
That's one of the shows that when I'm waiting for something to come on, I'll go through channels. It's one that I stop and I'll just catch a half hour.
Yeah.
The one I caught the other day was the time that Marie ran into the house. Do you remember that?
You're going to have to be a little bit more specific.
Okay. With the car. With the car. Right. Because he was on medication or something like that and couldn't drive. So she drove and she drove right into the house.
Yeah.
And she says to him, you can't drive right now because you can't see. He says, I can see a house. I just saw that episode just the other day.
There's a couple.
Oh my God.
There's a couple things from Marie that I remember. Like one time when Deborah got this like crazy vacuum cleaner and she was gonna show Marie that even though she thought her house was clean, it wasn't really clean. And she goes over there and she's got the vacuum and she's vacuuming and vacuuming and vacuuming and nothing's coming up in the canister. She's trying to show her that she's not a good housekeeper, but she is, and she looks at her and she's like, I can't believe it. There's nothing in here. And Marie looks at Deborah so condescendingly and she goes, vacuums don't clean houses. People clean houses. I was like, ouch. Wow. But at the same time, when Deborah got sick, she took care of her.
She did.
Just like she was one of her kids. She took care of the twins. She took care of Deborah. And they all had Marie's lipstick marks all over their foreheads because she would take their temperature by kissing them on the forehead. And she knew right down to like the teeniest little degree.
Do you remember the Christmas bass?
Thank God she made that turkey because I would have taken that bass and I would have thrown it out too. Oh my goodness.
I got to tell you, in real life, for me, that comes up like every Christmas. It's like, are you going to make a Christmas bass? It's like, no, I get it.
But that was a good show. And it was another one of these shows that is reliably funny. Every episode that you come across, it's not like, oh, not this one. Every one reliably funny.
Right. I liked when they did some crossover stuff with with Kevin James.
Yes, and they did one with the nanny too, Ray Romano and Fran Drescher.
They went to school together, you know.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
So when they did that reunion, that was for
Yeah.
real. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think they did the same, the actual school that they went to, but they actually did go to school together. How cool is that?
57 babies.
Oh gosh.
We're all 57 babies. What can I tell you?
Not me, sadly, or not sadly, depending
Not
on how you look
sadly.
at it.
Not sadly. No. All right. So now that you're in New Jersey for a couple of days, how do you like not pumping your own gas?
I forget a lot.
Oh, you jumped out and tried to pump?
When I was in a hurry, I forgot that I had to wait, and I got out and I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to do this myself.
That's right.
And I can see how that would come in really handy when the weather is crappy.
That's right.
That would be really awesome. And I also can totally get behind it creating jobs.
Yeah. Jersey's one of 2 states.
So why is it only 2 states?
Good question.
It's
It creates jobs.
It creates jobs. And not only that, but it creates jobs that young people can do.
Absolutely.
And older people can do. So why can't you create more jobs for people?
I think that they should.
Let's wrap it up.
Lots of ease.
It was entertaining.
It was exciting.
It was electrifying.
Oh my God. It was exhilarating.
It was effervescent.
It was excellent.
It was explosive.
Oh God. I'm done. All right. So we appreciate you listening. With that, we're out of here.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.